So this is an emergency podcast where we had to emergency film one night before its release. We were doing conspiracy theories, but but my nephew was in with me, and you could hear him the whole way through. So, yeah, and the other one before that, we'll just blame it on corruption. It wasn't really. We were reading a fanfic. It was Ryan Bowman, and the person hasn't gotten back to us yet on whether we're even allowed to be reading it on a podcast. So we've had to result into someone else's fanfiction, who gladly has accepted to let us read it. So hopefully. Yeah, emergency podcast. It's like it's not even really late at night. I've got to go dinner in like 5 minutes, so I've got to hurry this up. And Abby is really tired. Oh, the stuff we do for this podcast.
I'm also eating, so if you're chewing, it's just me. I'm always eating on one of these. I just realized that.
Yeah, you always are. To be fair, I'm always eating.
See, I ain't got no type. Baby, name your price, yeah. Ain't about the hype. You could be a wifey, yeah. Show me what you like. Put a ring on every finger, no water, just ice. You can check the price.
Right, okay. So this book is called The Cabin. It's Harvey Mills Fanfictions by Kiwi13 Avocado 14 on Wattpad. And it says Flo gets dragged into the forest for a supposed fun camping trip with her best friend Lucy. When the heavy downpour of rain starts to kick in, the girls have no option but to take shelter. Fortunately, they find a recently abandoned cabin and decided to stay the night. The girls get a fright when they hear two male intruders downstairs. What will they do next? And how will they cope when they get stuck with them? So that's going to be interesting to read. Okay, right, let's start on chapter 1 then, shall we?
Okay.
Right, okay. The clouds look angry, no point of view. Lucy, this backpack is so heavy. Please, can we sit down? Flo, we've been walking for 2 seconds. The car is literally behind us. Flo looks over her shoulder at the car parked in the driveway of her home. She looked at her best friend with a sheepish smile. Lucy rolled her eyes in response. Maybe this camping trip isn't a good idea, Lucy mumbled, her tone now sad and moody. Yeah, maybe you're right. We should just go back inside. You really thought I was going to give up that easily? Come on, Flo. The forest is literally just down the street. Flo huffed as she walked down the cobblestone path with her best friend, Lucy smirking in response. Lucy had come up with the idea to go camping in the woods for a night. Of course, being her best friend, Flo got dragged into this too, getting bribed with food. She found herself obeying her younger friend's orders and going through with the plan. Flo had never been an outdoors kind of person. Yes, she loved an adventure and exploring new places, but staying a night in the woods wasn't exactly her idea of fun. She hated camping ever since she was a kid, never once stepped foot in a tent until today. The girls had already reached the forest and were now looking for a nice open area to set up for the night. The clouds looked angry. Flo looked up. The clouds above them had turned grey and bleak, portraying what was to come. See, I think we should go home. It looks like it's about to rain any minute now, Flo warned. Yes, she might dislike her best friend for dragging her here in the first place, but she certainly didn't want to be stuck in the rain, let alone the middle of the storm. It will be fine. As if on cue, the rain started pouring fast and heavily, inaudible groans coming from the two girls. You think this is fine? Flo asked, not expecting a proper answer. Come on, we need to find shelter, Lucy shouted, running down the dirt path, Flo trailing behind her like a lost puppy. It was only a couple seconds before the girls were standing, shivering under a tall, wide-branched oak tree. its leaves so big that its leaves so no, I'm saying this wrong. Its leaves so big and wide that it gave the girls some sort of shelter. No words were exchanged. The sound of heavy downpour drumming on the ground. Flo sat down on the floor, leaning against the tree, bringing her knees to her chest, her head laying between them. Flo, Lucy whispered, a quiet what could be heard escaping Flo's lips. Stand up, Lucy demanded, her voice calm and silky. Even though she was younger, she had always been the bossy one. Why? Flo questioned, a more louder and frustrated tone now. Just get up, Lucy huffed. Flo had always been stubborn. But I don't get why you... I swear to God, Flo, if you don't get up this instant, I will never give you Oreos in class again. I'm up. Flo sprang to her feet, eyeing her best friend with plead. Lucy knew Flo loved Oreos. It's the card Lucy would pull if she wanted to get her own way. Why did you want me up again? Look, Lucy pointed to a wooden cabin. The cabin was made of light-coloured wood. It was medium-sized, and a set of stairs were leading up one side. A wooden door stood proudly at the front, luring people in. The girls looked at each other eagerly. Could this be shelter at last? Come on, Lucy shouted. Oh, wait, she shouted that. I literally said that as if like she was whispering to someone. Come on, Lucy. No, come on, Flo, let's go. Come on, Lucy shouted, already halfway to the cabin by now. Damn, this girl be fast, huh? Flo followed promptly, both girls running up the wooden steps and under the cutaway of the cabin. Lucy knocked sternly. Wait, I need a wooden box or something. Hold on. Would this work? Yeah, I think. 1, 2, 3. That bloody hurt. Ow. No answer. Could you hear the knocking on the wood that I did?
Yeah, very little.
Oh, it really hurt my knuckles. All right. No answer. There must be no one inside, Flo thought aloud. Do you ever get that when you just think out loud, though? Like someone would be next to you, just have a feeling that you should think out loud so they know what's going on in your head, even though they don't
Or
care.
like they can read your mind and know what you're talking about.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And like you get a lot of weird looks for that. Then you remember, in fact, no one really is an Avenger or a Superman or a Superwoman, and they can't read your minds.
Yeah. Probably some scary stuff.
I actually can read minds though. That's the thing.
Whoa.
Yeah. Right.
Mind blown.
I don't like to flex on the fact that I can read minds because everyone then gets jealous and they always go, "What's in my mind? What's in my mind? What? Read my mind, read my mind." And I'm all like, "Oh, but like the power like wears off when I am eating chocolate or something."
Okay, what am I thinking of?
You're thinking of me to shut the F up so I can get on with this story and you can go to sleep.
Yes.
Told you I could read minds.
There was another one, but close enough.
Harvey Mills is a hot lad.
There you go. Continue with the story.
Oh, right. Lucy moved away from the door and... Does that say front door or am I just seeing things? Front. Okay, no. Lucy moved away from the door and towards the window looking in. There doesn't look like anyone is in, Lucy mumbled, her gaze fixating on her best friend. Come on, she said, her hand on the door, opening it with hesitation. Do you know what? If you see an abandoned cabin in the forest, yeah, no one is in, and it's drumming with rain. It's pouring with rain. No one is in the cabin, right? You just decide to walk in anyway.
Yeah.
What if there's mass murderers?
Well, it's your own problem.
Let's just get a bat or something. Oh dear. Right. Thankfully, it opened. The girls rushed inside, closing the door behind them. Another door was behind this wooden one. This time it was made out of glass. How many bloody doors does this have? Lucy carefully cracked it open and poked her head through. Hello? She called out. Silence. Both girls entered the area. Hello! Lucy shouted, more clearly now. Surely if there was anyone in there, they would speak up. Not if they're psychopaths. No. Maybe no one lives here, Flo concluded. Oh, you don't say! From the glass door, there was a little sitting room next to it. 3 medium-sized black leather sofas with matching pillows formed the letter C in front of the big TV. Well, that isn't really a small living room, is it?
No.
The TV hung from the wall, a glass table sat underneath. A window with blinds was also next to the door. The living room area was connected with the kitchen area. Marble counters, oak wood cabinets, and a working fridge, oven, and hob accompanied it. Hold on, how do you know if the fridge and the hob and the oven is working? Do you turn it on? Would you open it or something?
Maybe.
Do you just take one look at it and go, it's working? Or is it like in really good condition that you can tell that it's obviously working?
I know.
These are the questions that I want answered, Abby, and you have to answer them.
I can't. It's not my story. My computer's throwing a hissy fit.
Please say it's still recording.
Yes, but it's also saying my HP support assistant isn't wanting to work. So,
Oh well, who needs that anyway?
yeah.
All right. To the side of the kitchen, just before you walked up the stairs, a wooden table that could seat 4 stood proudly. Passing the stairs, you could go down a corridor where one big guest room was. Whoa, check this out! Lucy shouted from the landing above. Flo sprinted down the small corridor and up the stairs, placing a foot down. No, sorry, that's just reminded me. Do you know how you, like, in school, right, where you're learning about coordinates, and every single teacher always goes, if you remember this with coordinates, go along the corridor and up the stairs. The first number would be the corridor on the x-axis, sorry, and then the second number would be up the stairs for the y-axis.
Yeah. I think we had something like that too.
Yeah. Right. Flo sprinted down the small corridor and up the stairs, placing a foot down on the carpeted landing. The landing was one consistent corridor. In here, Lucy called out. Flo turned to her left, walking closer to a guest room. Flo found herself in yet another big guest room, an ensuite attached. I bagged you this room, Lucy smiled, jumping on the double bed. Flo just smiled and walked back down the landing, past the stairs. She passed another 2 rooms that were similar to Lucy's room. Bloody hell, how many rooms did this cabin have? God, you got one downstairs, the one Lucy's in, right? 2 other ones, that's 3 rooms already. This must be a massive cabin. I'm not kidding. It's all in the figment of the imagination.
Oh yeah.
Look at me. I've forgotten that. I'll just sing it. Wait, what? Come with me and you'll see in a world of your imagination. Oh, good old Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. All right. At the very end of the corridor, a medium-sized table. You could tell it hadn't been used very much, if not ever. Opposite the bathroom stood yet another guest room. Double bed, balcony, and ensuite attached. I bagsy this room, Flo shouted down the corridor, walking into the room to examine it. And that's chapter 1.
Okay.
Should we go on to chapter 2?
Yes.
Okay. This one's called We Thought You Were Going to Kill Us. I question sometimes. Right, it's no point of view again. Okay. Lucy, Flo, I'm hungry. Then go get some food. You have all the food in your bag. Plus, I want to eat together. I do. Yes, you do. Oh, yeah, I do. How do you forget that you have food in your bag? I love food, man. I wouldn't forget that. Unless she's like playing a prank or something and just winding up her mate. I would do that.
Though, I do it too.
Like, no, food's mine.
Well, the food would be gone by the time we got there.
Yes. A pause of silence took place. Flo looking at Lucy expectantly. Lucy not picking up the hints. What? She asked, dumbfounded. Please, can I have your bag so I can get something to eat? Flo huffed. Well, why didn't you say then? Lucy got up from the bed, strutting over to her bag. I don't walk, I strut. Instead of my way or the highway, it's strut way. Strut or the highway.
Thing.
Hopefully no one took that the wrong way and generally was listening to me, because you could take that so many ways.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Well, I tried, Flo mumbled, rolling her eyes. What was that? Oh, nothing. Flo played dumb. No, not you mumbling, Lucy informed. Flo looked confused. What was she on about then? Lucy, are you? Shh! Lucy hushed, moving closer to the bedroom door, lightly pushing Flo out the way so she could poke her head out the door. So it said lightly pushing, but in my mind, I just like saw like this girl just shoving her mate out the way into the wall. A loud thud.
Like what I did.
Breaks her back. A few seconds of silence went past. The only sound that could be heard was the light tapping of rain outside. A bang sounded from downstairs. That, Lucy whispered, turning to Flo. I heard it this time. The girls looked at each other, worried expressions written on their faces. Some inaudible words came after the bang. Shuffling accompanied it. This was when Lucy started having a panic attack. Would you calm down? Flo whisper shouted. I'm trying. Okay. Lucy, look at me. Lucy did what Flo said. Breathe, okay? In and out. In and out. Do you know what? Flo's such a good friend, because I'd probably be that friend laughing at the person having a panic attack.
Honestly, same.
I'd be like, yes, Snapchat. Calm down, stop being a drama queen.
Remind me never go camping with you.
A few more seconds passed as Lucy tried to calm down her breathing. Now that she was in control, the girls had to think of what to do next. Flo looked frantically around the room, finding an umbrella and a bat. Oh yeah, because you know, any bloody room has a random umbrella and bat sitting in the closet. Yeah. Just ready for you to have it in case you're in danger.
Yeah, that's normal.
But no, they did say recently abandoned cabin.
Yeah.
But I mean, come on. Do they have heating in this cabin? I can't stand cold things. I like they're about to get attacked by intruders, right? Probably murderers. And I'm here caring about the heating.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that's your problem.
Gonna stay warm, you know.
Yeah.
Hold this, Flo whispered. Now I'll just whack it across the head. Wait, why do I get the umbrella and you get the bat? Because the last time you had a bat, you gave our teacher a concussion by accidentally letting go of it when you swung. Why do I feel like that was someone in my class? It was just that one dude in the class that is so dumb that when they swing back, they would let go of the bat and hit a teacher. Okay. Yeah, now that I think about it, it makes sense. Glad we're on the same page. The girls creeped down the corridor, more shuffling echoing the cabin. Male voices could be heard from the bottom of the stairs. The sound of trainers scraping across the wooden steps filled the cabin. The male voices getting louder as they progressed further. Flo pushed Lucy into a bedroom while she stepped backwards into another bedroom opposite Lucy. Flo mouthed a, Be quiet, as they listened for the sound of the creak in the floorboards, the signal to pounce. Flo adjusted her hands on the bat, the footsteps getting closer. She mouthed a 3, 2, 1. Now! Flo screamed, both girls jumping out on the two males, knocking them both down to the ground. Ow, what the hell? Wait! Flo paused. She would recognize that voice anyway. I think I was meant to say anywhere. Flo had stopped hitting one of the boys, whereas Lucy was still whacking the other really hard in the same place over and over again. Lucy, stop. Oi, Lucy! Flo held her friend back. Lucy was out of breath. The girls looked at the two identical teenage boys laying on the floor. Lucy looked at Flo. Why did you stop me? I was on a roll. Flo gestured to the twins laying there. Lucy looked. Oh, poop. You don't look like murderers. Lucy mumbled. Because that's what you greet anyone. Oh, you don't look like murderers. Sorry. I thought you were Jason. I thought you were Jason from Friday the 13th. But really, that movie scared me.
I haven't watched it.
Well, we hope not. The one with the hat said, starting to get up. Oh, I know you, Lucy exclaimed. The boy with the hat helping the other boy. You're Max and Harvey. Every time I have to say Max and Harvey, I have to do it in that accent because I've just gained that accent. Whenever I say Max and Harvey, I go Max and Harvey.
Yeah, I was a little confused.
Not the H. The H doesn't exist.
No.
Indeed we are. Nice to meet you, Max said, looking at the umbrella in Lucy's hand. Self-defense, Lucy shrugged. We thought you were going to kill us. She laughed. What a great way to, introduce yourself to these famous twins.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we just thought you were going to kill us. I brought an umbrella along so I could stab you.
Honestly, though, I can see it.
You would be the one stabbing, though. You'll be the one hitting the umbrella. You just wouldn't stop until I physically had to push you off. And you were there like, I was on a roll. Why'd you stop me? We could have got killed.
Honestly, you're not wrong.
Flo looked at the ground, embarrassment taking over. The boys just chuckled. Well, we're not. Harvey's too soft for that. I'm not. The girls giggled at their little argument. The boys turned towards them once they had finished. And you were unforgettable. Sorry, I have recently been watching a lot of Bryce Parker TikTok with Jackson Dean TikTok. And there's this one TikTok that I really like, and it's like that song that goes, and you are, and then they go unforgettable. And I can't stop. Like, I'm addicted to that TikTok now. That sound is just great. I love it. Anyway, back to the story that we're supposed to be reading for this podcast.
Yeah.
Flo, and this is Lucy. Flo introduced. Howdy. Lucy greeted in a funny accent. That is so you. You would so do that, though.
Who, me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, you would just, randomly, you wouldn't have a cowboy hat at hand, but you just randomly click your fingers and pop up a cowboy hat and go, howdy, partner. And then
I'm
you just click
American,
again,
but I'm not Southern.
Hi, the twins said at the same time. A moment of awkward silence passed until Flo spoke up. What are you boys doing here anyway? Aren't you guys famous or something? We were on our way back from Manchester when our car broke down on the side of the road. It was tipping it down when Harvey saw some light coming through the trees. We trekked through the woods until we found the source of light, that, of course, being the cabin. No one answered when we knocked, so we decided to just walk in. We weren't expecting two girls to come out of nowhere and hit us with a bat and an umbrella, Max explained. The boys were, I don't think anyone who walks into a building expects two girls to pounce out of nowhere with a bat and an umbrella.
No, I don't think so.
The boys were soaking wet and slightly shivering. Flo suggested on them showering and getting dry. They had brought their backpacks with them from the car, so they had some spare clothes to change into. Everyone was now downstairs on the sofa, eating what Lucy brought. Luckily, there was enough for all of them. Flo noticed that Harvey winced in pain when he made certain movements. "Are you okay?" she asked him. "Yeah, I'm fine. The umbrella just got me a bit." Harvey laughed it off. Flo wasn't buying it though. "Come on, there's gotta be a first aid kit around here somewhere," she said, taking Harvey by the hand up the flight of stairs. "It should be around here somewhere." Flo's voice was muffled, half her body in the cabinet, half not. You know, there's really no need. Got it. Harvey sighed as he let her get on with it. She started running the tap and opened the first aid kit. "Take off your shirt," she demanded. He obeyed. Flo examined the cut. Flo examined the cut. It was on the left side of his hip, just above the hip bone. It wasn't deep, but it was bleeding lightly and definitely looked to be bruised. Harvey watched as Flo took a clean towel and washed the blood away, wincing every time she dabbed it right over the cut. "Sorry," she apologized for what felt like the 100th time. Harvey let out a light chuckle. "It's fine. You're only trying to help." Flo smiled up at him before looking back down at the plaster she was now putting on him. "There, all done," she smiled. Harvey smiled back. "Thanks, you didn't have to do that." "Don't be silly. It could have gotten infected if I hadn't. Plus, you'll be much more comfortable moving around and touching things now since it's protected." Harvey looked into her eyes. "Do you like this sort of stuff?" he asked, putting on his shirt again as she packed away the first aid kit. "I'm all right with it. I always like helping people out, but I could never work in a hospital. I'm more of a kid-friendly type of girl." "So, a primary school?" "Oh no, definitely couldn't deal with that. I like helping kids overcome their worries and fears. Hence why I want to be a children's social worker. I love seeing kids happy. Some children go through a lot at a very young age, and I just want to help them to live a happier life. I've always liked making sure people are okay. Been like that since I was young. Somehow, I always knew how to cope with each situation as it comes. It's been a dream of mine to help children that need it the most. Mental health can be really damaging, especially to younger kids." Do you know what? That sums up my kind of dreams and ambitions in like one little paragraph.
Mhm.
Harvey leaned against the counter, listening to Flo ramble on about her dream, a warm smile on his face. "Sorry, I'm rambling on." No, it's fine. I like hearing you talk." "Well, you're not creepy." Damn. "I like hearing you talk. I think it's really kind that you want to help children who need it the most. I've heard some pretty horrific stories, and I love the fact that you want to be the one to help them." "You think?" "Yeah, definitely. Not everyone is as kind as most people." A comfortable silence fell upon them. Flo was smiling brightly. Harvey was smiling at her. That's that chapter. Damn. So Flo and Lucy were gonna like go to a cabin. Not a cabin, sorry. Flo and Lucy were gonna camp, and then a storm came on. They found an abandoned cabin, stayed in the abandoned cabin until some unexpected people showed up. Turns out it was like pretty much the hottest twins on earth. And so Lucy decided to hurt Harvey, made him bleed. Flo helped Harvey and confessed to this complete stranger, confessed how much she wants to be a children's social worker. What a good story.
Yeah.
Okay, that is going to be it for this podcast. I'm sorry it's a little short. It was kind of on schedule sort of thing. Not on schedule, sorry. It was kind of squeezed in. I have to go now, and so does Abby.
Mhm.
If you want us to read more of this fanfic, I think we will love to read it. There's more chapters on it, and what I've heard from people, it's turning out to be a good story. And yeah, that's gonna be it for this episode. I do hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you next Thursday. Bye.
Bye.
See, I ain't got no type. Baby, name your price, yeah. Ain't about the hype. You